Hello everyone, welcome back to my crafting world. This is Anna. Guys, today I'm doing the tutorial for my Shadow Box mini album. So let's get started because I don't want it to get too long. So this is the mini album that I will be making with you guys today. This theme is a wedding theme though. It's not a pink Christmas like this one. So let me move that. Okay, the first thing that we are going to start with is the sides of the mini album. For the sides, you need, okay, let me bring this in. I'm going to try to stay in frame, but my camera is kind of high and it's hard for me to look at it without stepping over something. Okay, so if I stay right there, I'll be okay. So, okay. So the first thing you're going to need for the sides, and you're going to need two of everything except the bottom. So you're going to need two pieces of cardstock, and this is 110-pound cardstock, 6 by 11, and I put it on my scoreboard on the long side, and then we're going to score every ½ inch. So you know, like when you score your paper on the non-bubble side, you tend to get cracks. Well, I didn't want that. So what I did was I started at ½ inch. We're going to score every ½ inch. So I started at ½ inch, and then I went to 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, 8.5, 9.5, and then 10.5. Okay. Then I flipped my paper over and I scored it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that way you have a bumpy side and a an indentation side, and we need to fold the score bump in. So this is my score, and this is the side that is raised. So that's the side that I fold in, and we're just going to do the accordion fold, okay? And I want to fold and burnish every single line. But what I'm going to do first is I am going to fold and burnish one side. Okay? That way, and I'm going to skip. So I folded the first one. I'm skipping the next one. The next one is the raised side. So I'm going to fold that one in, making sure I am even on the sides, because you know how quickly we can get off track here. Okay, so I have two folds. There's a 1-inch spot. Okay, so we're gonna, after we fold this bumpy side, we'll flip it over and fold this bumpy side. So I'm trying to stay as straight as I can with my fold. Okay, so I'm going to continue to fold this and just line it up with the edge, and then fold it and burnish it down. That way my folds are all going to be even. After I, accordion fold it all together, I will have a straight edge. So I'm going to do that, and I will be right back. Okay guys, I have folded all one side, and I could fold it at any point, and I'm straight on the edge. Because not all folds are created equal. You know that, especially on an accordion fold. So now I am going to do the same for the other side. I'm folding in to the bump, and I'm not getting any of those cracks that we sometimes get, especially since this cardstock is so thick. It's the 110, but I needed the thick one for it to stand nice and tall and sturdy. So that's why I used the 110. I tried I tried to just accordion fold this way, but it was not coming out straight from the edge. It wasn't coming out straight. So I said, let me take a little extra time and do it this way. And then I was getting those little cracks on one side. You could see the one side where, I could see the little cracks, and that's not very pretty at all, especially for a wedding album. So that's why I thought, okay, let me score it a little bit different and fold it differently to see if I get better results. And I sure did, guys. I really, really did. So let me continue to fold this and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I have folded both sides of my bumpy sides, if you will. And then now I can accordion fold this and press down. Hopefully everything will come out straight. Okay, guys, there we go. That was as straight as I could get it. This last one, or this first one, went off track a little bit, but overall that's not bad. My edge is straight and the top is straight. Hopefully you can see that. And I see that I have a little bit left over on this side, and it really doesn't matter, guys. You won't be able to see that in the end. So I am going to taper off the end. Do not, just go up to the score line, but don't cut it off. Here we go. Up to the score line, but I did not cut it off. So you need 2 of these, one for each side of the album. Okay, so I have already made my 2. So we're going to set these aside. They match. And we're going to set these aside and we will assemble this in a little bit. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we're going to work on our actual box, okay? For the box, you need 2 pieces that are 7 1/16 of an inch by 8 1/16 of an inch. You need 2 of these, one for the front, one for the back, and you need 2 that are 7 by 8, and these are the bottoms. So since it's easier to do the bottom, I'm gonna go ahead and assemble the bottom. This is just a regular box, guys. We're just making a regular box with this. So we fold and burnish all of our score marks, and remember, score into the mountain of your score line, not the valley, but the mountain. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and make our little tabs here. So I am going to cut I'm going to cut my score line off. I'm not going to angle anything. I'm just going to cut my score line off. So let me see if I can, let me cut it and I'll show you in a second what I mean. And I'm sure you know, I just want to make sure. Okay, this, guys, is my score line. And I'm just cutting that off, and I'm going to leave that there for a second while I go ahead and cut the other 4. I will show you how I get rid of that with a nice clean cut. Of course, you can do it your own way, but I'm just showing you how I went crooked there. I'm just showing you how I do it, just in case it's an alternative for some people. Okay, so I have cut on the short side, guys. I don't think I said that, but on the short side, I went ahead and cut my score lines off. And I'm going to bring these forward. And I always keep cuticle nips in my arsenal. What I do is just nip it off right at that intersection. Okay, and it just makes for a nice clean cut. I don't overcut, because all I need is that that score line off, and that's it. Okay, and then we're going to assemble our box just like a regular box. This is the bottom of my box, so we still need some work on this bottom piece, and I'm going to go ahead and put the inside liner on this one just to have it ready. I am using a Stamperia You and Me, and this is the 8x8 paper pad, and I also am using the backgrounds You and Me. All right, so I cut this at 4 and 7/8 by 5 7/8. You can actually go a little bit shorter if you want, because the sides are not going to show. I guarantee it. So we glue that in. Still working with the bottom, guys. So here is this is going to be the inside of my box. So this is what's going to show. So now we need a little more work on this. We need to get 2 pieces of cardstock. Now what you use is up to you. I am using gold poster board from Dollar Tree. You need 4 pieces of the 3.5 by 3 7/8, and then you need 4 pieces of the 3.5 by 6. Now guys, this is for 2 boxes, for 2 front and back, so that's why you need 4. And then you're going to score these on the short side. You're going to score the same on both. So again, I want my bump to the back because this is going to be the inside. So you're going to score this at 1.5. Okay, score down. And then, I'm sorry, at 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2, and then 3. Okay, so you're going to do this to both pieces. 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2, and 3. And that's all the scoring you're going to do on these 2 pieces. Or 4 pieces. I keep saying 2 because I'm working with 2, but it's 4. Okay, so you're going to fold. I don't like to burnish these because these do they do crack really easy, the color layer on the top. So I don't burnish these. I just fold them in a few times. Okay, once you have folded your score marks, you're going to glue these together and make a tube. So fold that in and glue these down. Guys, these do not have to be perfect. They do not have to be perfect, but they do have to be square or rectangle. And I went off a little bit. I'm gonna trim that just so my tube is a little more even. Okay, so there we go. So you're gonna wind up with 4 of these. Okay, and you're gonna want to look for the prettiest edge that you have. For me, it's this edge. That's what's gonna show. And then you do the same for this one, your small one. Just fold your score marks, and then you glue your flap down. Let me glue this to the inside. I don't know if that's as even as it can be, but like I said, it doesn't have to be. There we go. And there is your next one. Okay, see how like this one almost wanted to crack? So you just need to choose whatever end is prettier for you, because that's what's going to show. Now you're going to take all your 4 pieces for the one box, and here we go. Choose your prettiest side, because that's what's going to show. Now, we're going to take the back of our box again, and we are going to line these into the box this way. See how only one side shows? And I think this is the, okay, I'm going to flip it this way. And then these should fit snugly. I know on one of them I kind of had to trim it down a little bit. But they should fit nicely in there. Okay, guys, these gaps are not going to show, so don't worry about those gaps. Okay, so I'm going to glue these down. So I am putting glue on the side here. And just enough to tack it down, guys. It doesn't have to be super duper glued, because remember, it's still going to have a lid. Okay, I'm going to wipe that, put that in. And I'm going to hold it there for a second and let that tack down. And make sure you've got it nice and straight. That way when it does adhere, it adheres straight, not crooked, because we do need this inside square. We need that straight. I have glued in all my little columns here. And I think this is the way it goes. Okay. So I took, actually this one, I could have done this one just a tad bit longer. So I took my bone folder and I just ran it along the edge to make sure that it is even with the top of my box. And I'm leaning more towards the outside than I am the inside. Okay, so that is the inside of my box. I'm going to go ahead and cover the edges. So for the inside, I'm cutting 3/4 of an inch by 3 3/4. This is for the short sides. And then 3/4 of an inch by 4 3/4, and that is for the long side. So let me cut those real quick. Okay, guys, I've cut the inside and I have glued them down. Now at this point, you can start to decorate it or put your inside image on there if you want. I actually did the front already. This is the back. So I'm going to set this aside and just continue to show you how I put mine together. So the back is done except for the embellishing of the inside. Now we're going to work with the top. See my little T? Okay, so again, for this one, you need a piece of cardstock that is 7 by 8, okay? With the 1 inch scored all the way around, okay? And then after you do that, to cut my square out, what I did was flipped it over and I measured on each corner, I measured 1 5/8 of an inch. Make sure that's right. Yes. 1 5/8 of an inch on each corner. Okay, 1 5/8 of an inch on each corner. All 4 corners, 1 5/8. Even here on each corner, 1 5/8 of an inch. Then I took my ruler and I lined up those little tick marks. And I drew a line from one side to the other, okay? And I centered my squares, what I did. So this is what we're going to cut out. And then we're gonna assemble the box just like the bottom. We're going to fold our score lines. Okay, and we're going to cut our score lines out. All right, now I am going to assemble my box just like we did the bottom. These margins are about 5/8 of an inch wide, okay? So that when we put our, let's put it together. This is 1/2 an inch. So if we didn't go perfectly straight, if our edges, one of our edges, either be the top or the bottom, if they don't align perfectly, you have just a little bit of leeway to where it's still going to look even. So this is the top of our box, okay? So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and line this box. I used a mirrored cardstock, this gold, for the lid, or for the other end. So let me get that. Okay guys, so this is 4 7/8 by 5 7/8. And again, you know me, I'm a cheater. So what I did was I put it down and I put a piece of washi so it wouldn't move on me. There we go. And then I flipped it over, traced around my window. I know it has washi, but I don't like to move it too much because I feel like it could still move. Okay. Then I remove it from the top. And that's what I cut out. So guys, if you want to leave a white edge, just cut inside your pencil mark to, you know, to make it smaller than your window so you can have a white edge. But I did not do that. I wanted my paper to go to the edge. All right guys, here is the top of my box. There we go guys. That is the top. There we go. All right. Now what I can do is go ahead and do the edges. Okay guys, I'm back. I have lined the sides of my box. And then I also noticed that the little frame that I cut it was overhanging a little bit, and I don't want to take from the inside of this one, so I just trimmed it down a little bit. I mean, that much on one of the sides, and then just a tiny bit on the other. So I have cut my acetate. My box is essentially 5 by 6, so I cut it down just under that, which was 5 7/8 by 4 7/8. Just so it would fit inside. All I did was put some double-sided adhesive on there, or double-sided tape, and I am going to stick that down to the inside of my box. So the double-sided tape does go on both sides. Okay guys, at this point, and I always measure and remeasure. Okay, so at this point I need to decorate the inside because I've done everything I can do to the outside. So let me decorate, let me embellish the inside so I can glue, because we're going to glue this onto the bottom of the box. Let me go ahead and embellish the inside, and I'll be back. All right guys, this is what I have so far. Everything is still wet. The stickles is still wet. The flowers, the stickles on the flowers are still wet. But I have popped these guys up really close to the window, and I could see a lot of the foam at the bottom. So I stuck some flowers in there, and a white leaf, and I just think the yellow just gives it a pop of color. So I am ready to put my lid on my box. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the backing, the tape backing from my acetate, and I am going to glue this box all the way down. And when I say all the way down, guys, I mean the edges as well, the sides. So I'm going to take my glue. I'm going to put glue on the tape because because Texas. So I'm putting glue on my tape, and then after that I'm going to put glue on the edges as well. Okay, so we're going to glue it all the way down. We're creating a permanent seal. And I don't want to go too far to the edge because I don't want it seeping out and making a big old mess. But I do want it glued down very well. Getting those corners, the edges. Okay, guys. Here we go. I'm going to carefully put this in the bottom half. Okay, so I'm going to press down, and I can because the little tubes that we put in there are pretty strong. And then I'm going to press down on the sides, and I'm going to have to clean that up. If you just moisten your whatever you're cleaning, just a little bit, it will come right off. And I'm going to, making sure that it's closed, just seal that up. You're sealing that right up. And that, my friends, is the other half of my box. I'm going to cut a piece for this, so we're not worried about that bee right there. So I just want to make sure that it's totally sealed. So this is the back or the front, whichever they decide to use. I still need to embellish the front. Here is my other box. I almost burned myself with that glue gun. Here is my other half of the box. Like I said, they could use either the front or the back. It's up to them. I am going to go ahead and finish embellishing this one. I'm going to put some more bling on the corners. For this, I'm going to do opposite corners. And then I am going to put a chipboard bow right here at the corner. And that's all I'm going to do to this one, just embellish this and this. I'm going to put that bow up there. And that's it, guys. I'm going to finish putting it together. And let me do that, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, I have my two ends ready to go. Now, the next thing we need to do is put on our accordion side. So for our accordion side, we are just going to glue. Let me see if I can, which one I can flip over. We are going to glue these accordion, these little flaps. We're just going to glue them down to the back of our box, right to the edge. Okay? So I am going to, first of all, put some tape on there. We are going to fold this under and glue it right to the edge here, guys. Okay, so it's going to be a little hard for you to see what I'm doing. That's why I had to tell you in advance. So I am going to put glue on here right to the edge. And I am going to go ahead and glue that down right to the edge of the box. I want the bottom to be as aligned as possible to the bottom of the box. It's okay if I have a little bit left over on the top, but the bottom I want right to the bottom, as close to the bottom as I can get. Okay, and there is our first side. Okay, now for the next one, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to fold this flap in, and that is the side that goes onto the box. Okay, at this point we can go ahead and cover this so we know our box is 5 by 6. So I'm going to take some paper and cut it down to just under 5 by 6. I've got that side covered. Now we need to attach these to the other side. So we're going to do the same. Make sure you know what your top is and what your bottom is so that you attach them correctly. So they are going to face away from each other. I am going to remove this tape. I'm going to add some glue. And I am going to attach it to this side of my box. That one is attached. Now we need to attach that last one. Coming together nicely, guys. Okay, now I need to cover this side. Okay, guys, so these inside pieces are 4 7/8 by 5 7/8, and that fits just perfectly. At least it does for me. You can cut them a little closer if you want to the edge, but I'm okay with that. So I need to cut a bottom for this box, and again, I'm using 110-pound cardstock for the bottom of the box. Although on my prototype, I don't know if I told you guys that the pink Christmas one was my prototype. This was my prototype. Not bad for a prototype. I think I did make mistakes and learn from it, and I did not make those mistakes with this one. But so from the depth of the box itself is a whole 6, just over with all the folding, whatnot, a little over. So the bottom of the box is 6 by 5. Now this one will still have to be 5 inches, but I don't want it to be 6 inches in length. Why? Because I have cut some edges. We have to have some kind of edge. And I have cut this edge to fit 6 inches. And I just simply don't like that there is half of this design here. I want it to be this way. And I don't know if I should leave it at 6 or make it a little bit smaller, because if I make it a little bit smaller by maybe ½ an inch, the accordions get smaller. Yep, ½ an inch. So the accordions would get smaller, and not that they have any problems, taking them out or putting them in, because they slide in and out. The ones that slide less easily are the ones on the front and back, but even so, they are easily slid in and out. So I am going to give it a try at, instead of 6 inches, I'm going to do 5.5, guys. Let us hope, and these are my edges. Let us hope that I don't mess this up, because I've already come too far to mess it up. So I am going to cut my bottom at, I'm going to go 5 3/4. Okay guys, so I took a 110-pound cardstock and then cut it at 5 3/4 by 5, and I did the same with my pattern paper. So I just made a sandwich, and there's the other side. I am going to use this for the inside and this for the bottom. So now I'm going to flip this over, and I am going to attach this to the bottom of my box right there. So I am going to use some tape on the edges. I'm going to attach one side at a time. I'm just going to leave a tiny little bit showing. I just realized I didn't need to cover those. I'm just going to just put it right up to the edge here. Okay, so I'm going to remove the backing on this. I'm going to put glue on the bottom. Okay guys, here goes nothing. Okay, there's one side. Going to remove the tape from the other, and it's nice and sturdy, so I don't want to bend it. Oh my goodness. Alright, now I am going to put glue on this side. I know it looks kind of funny, but it'll come together, guys. We have to trust the process. Okay. Here's the other side. Okay. Push these in. Let me flip it over and put a little bit of pressure on there so it'll adhere. All right, guys. Let's hope that's gonna work. I think it's gonna work, actually. All right. So I am going to use my hot glue. I'm going to put a little bit of, hopefully I won't make a mess with this, guys. Just on the edges here, where it's going to attach to the frame of the box. I may have cut this just a little too short, but it is what it is. There's that one. I know it's still looking funny, guys, but believe me, let's trust the process. Okay, I'm going to cut again, right in the center. Right there. And again, we are just going to put some glue right at the edge here. Right on the edge. And attach them right there and right here. All right, guys, I think that's going to work out. Okay, now what we are going to do to make these stay is we're going to put a bead of glue along the inside of the of this band right here to make it stay this way. So I'm going to take my glue gun. I'm going to pull this up and put a thin bead of glue along the top side. And then I am going to push these in and try to make them as even as I can. There's one side. Yes, okay. Now let's do the other side. Put it on the side. I'm gonna mess with this side, guys. Try to clean that up. Okay. All right, guys, there we go. Now, I have, okay. I have brought out some feet. I am going to put them in with just hot glue because, I mean, I just don't think it needs, I mean, I could do the E6000, but I just don't want to wait for it to dry. So, a little bit of hot glue in the corner. Put this down right here. All right, guys, there we go. And all we have left to do is do picture mats. All right, for your picture mats, you will need 11 pieces of cardstock at 4 3/4 by 6 1/2. Okay, and then your pattern paper, I cut mine at 4 1/2 by 6 1/4. So just a 1/4 inch smaller. So let me put those together. That way when the picture goes on, it'll still have a border. Okay, and for the pull tabs, I've just gotten part of the ephemera pack. I had the chipboard pieces, and I just staggered them for them to fit all the way across, you know, staggered. That way they can pull out whichever one they want. And I have already made the rest of mine. So all these are the smallest chipboard pieces. And what I did was I put glue on the back of my chipboard piece. And I took the front card. For example, this one's the next one. I lined them up and I put my chipboard piece or your topper to where it's going to be about the same height as your previous one, and that it's over a little bit so they can grab that one. So that's all I did for these, and these are ready to go, guys, because I've already made mine. Now this is the final step where we put the picture mats in. So I'm going to start at the back, and look, guys, they still fit perfectly. I was afraid that shortening that bottom was going to not allow them to fit, you know, easily in and out easily, but it is fine. Oh my gosh, guys, there we go. There we go. That's the front. This is the side. The other side, the back, front, back, whatever they want to use. And then the other side and the bottom. Sorry. That's pushing down because it's upside down. There. I mean, it turned out pretty. So if you tumble them around like that, they're going to do that. I actually like this side better. So I'm probably going to turn these around. Or I don't know. I like both sides. I don't know. Anyway, there is my project. And guys, I hope this encourages you to give it a try, because you never know, guys. You know, if you think you might have an idea on how to do things, just give it a try. I mean, what's there to lose, you know? So anyway, guys, I hope this tutorial wasn't too long, and thank you so much for watching. And if you make one, tag me so I can see what you've made. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I will talk to everyone later. Y'all have a great day. Thanks a lot, guys.